As a child, you always want to be, you aspire to be something, and like I picked up a magazine at 12 and I saw a picture of Chris Dickerson, who was a former Mr. Olympia. I said, that's what I want to do.
Done so well at it, and people are amazed at how disciplined I am. That's how I am with anything, and when I get involved in something, I always give 100%. I say, you know, I'm here. If I'm going to the gym, I'm going to drag myself to the gym. I'm in the gym. It's really hard for me to go in there and just train like very easy, because I say, I'm here, I'm going to get the job done. Even on my days when I don't feel like training, of course, there's many of those days, talk to myself and say, you got a job to do.
I think a lot of people transform themselves by looking in the mirror, and they see what ultimately they can achieve. They chisel their bodies to be their absolute best. You know, you're creating a vision of something that, you know, you consider the ultimate.
I've been coming here, you know, and getting second all these times, and everyone told me, you know, you're wasting your time, you're not going to win. And I persevered, and I trained harder, and came back every year, and came back stronger, and here I am. You know, this is the day that no one thought they'd see.
Jay, will you be back next year to defend this trophy you just won and spent a lifetime trying to get?
Of course.
It's not necessarily being the biggest, hugest, ripped guy. It's an all-around look where you can still stay marketable, and you know, people actually look at your physique, and they look at your look and they say that, a great look, I'd like to look like that. You know, anyone can look at some of these guys and say, wow, they're freaky, but ask them if they want to look like that. You know, they say no.
You made a promise to the fans. I will return to this stage as Mr. Olympia.
You know, you're asking me if I get sick of being a bodybuilder? Never. I mean, I love lifting weights. That's what I do. The biggest achievement that I never expected was to give the motivation to a lot of people when I was just trying to be motivated myself. You know, I train in public because I don't want to be surrounded and locked in the lifestyle to the extreme. I mean, I live in it day in, day out. You know, I'm cooking and training and never stepping out of the shoes of being who I am, and that's Jay Cutler, the bodybuilder. You know, I think the biggest misconception is that we do things really extremely different, and that's not necessarily the case. I mean, it's very, very basic what a professional bodybuilder does, and I'm just speaking on my own behalf. I mean, I've been basic since the beginning. You know, I had a certain amount of genetics that I was blessed with. You know, I started on a specific diet. I stuck with the basics of training. I get a common question all the time. People approach me and they say, Jay, what's the secret? What's the secret? And there is no secret. The secret is progression, consistency, dedication, day in, day out. There's certain body parts I do like to train harder. I might train arms a little lighter, whereas, you know, back training, leg training is a lot heavier and harder. What I like to usually do is structured, you know, rest days around those training days, because sometimes it can be pretty intense. Anyone asks me, what are you training tomorrow? I usually have an idea, but if they ask me what time, I couldn't even tell you the time I wake up in the morning, what time I'll go to the gym. And if I tell you a time, even an hour before, I'll never be on time. That's how I work. I don't have really scheduled training partners. I have people that pick up and train with me here and there. They kind of know this. Just I'm on call, and you know, just let me know an hour before, so of course they can get food in and get the training and where to meet me. It's different when you don't have a team. You don't have a structure where it's like, you know, a time schedule where you're expecting people to show up, or some place is going to be open. Vegas, I mean, that's why I train here. It's the best place to train. It's like an athlete's playground here, pretty much. I mean, we train 24 hours a day and eat 24 hours, and I mean, there's no weather variables. Everything is just in tune with what you're trying to do, because you can just make it any kind of structure you want, and the result will be the same each day.
I'll say this without arrogance. Jay Cutler's the greatest bodybuilder of all time. I never had a lot of self-doubt. You know, people look at it as arrogance, and I'm just so confident that maybe sometimes I come off as that, but I've been knocked out enough times and came back from it that I just never gave up, and I always believed in myself. And I mean, I was so disciplined, man. There was no bodybuilder on this fucking planet that was more disciplined than I was at that time. I felt like a fucking machine, man. Everything just clicked. Like I told you, I could do anything. I went in the gym and I trained with light weights, I trained with heavy weights. It didn't matter what I did. Everything just clicked. I was just so young and just, I was so, you know, naive. I really didn't know much about anything. I really didn't know how to pose. I really didn't know anything, but I had the physique, I had the structure. And once I learned how to eat, and learned how to, you know, train properly, and, you know, I wanted to be the best.